Hodge. I'd like to give you 10 really good reasons that you might want to acquire and use Bitcoin. If you're not familiar with Bitcoin, it's a relatively new form of currency that is just beginning to hit the mainstream, but many people still don't understand why they should make the effort to use it. So why should you use Bitcoin? Here's 10 good reasons that I'm going to share with you, and it's worth taking the time to get involved in this virtual currency. So if you would, just hang with me till the end, and I'll give you some contact information so I can show you some really cool ways to get some of this Bitcoin currency in your hands. So let's get started. First of all, it's fast. When you pay a check from another bank into your bank, the bank will often hold that money for several days because it can't trust that the funds are really available. Similarly, international wire transfers can take a relatively long time. Bitcoin transactions, however, are generally far faster. The transactions can be instantaneous if they are zero confirmation transactions, meaning that the merchant takes on the risk of accepting a transition that hasn't yet been confirmed by the Bitcoin blockchain, or they can take around 10 minutes if a merchant requires the transaction to be confirmed. That is far faster than any interbank transfer. Another good reason is it's cheap. What's that you say? Your credit card transactions are instantaneous too. Well, that's true, but your merchant and possibly you pay for that privilege. Some merchants will charge a fee for debit card transactions too, as they have to pay a swipe fee for fulfilling them. Bitcoin transactions are minimal, or in some cases free. A very good reason is that central governments can't take it away. Remember what happened in Cyprus in March of 2013? The central bank wanted to take back uninsured deposits larger than $100,000 to help recapitalize itself, causing huge unrest in the local population. It originally wanted to take a percentage of deposits below that figure, eating directly into family savings. That can't happen with Bitcoin. The currency is decentralized. You own it. No central authority has control, and so a bank can't take it away from you. For those who find their trust in the traditional banking system unraveling, that's a big benefit. Also, there are no chargebacks. Once Bitcoins have been sent, they're gone. A person who has sent Bitcoins cannot try to retrieve them without the recipient's consent. This makes it difficult to commit the kind of fraud that we often see with credit cards, in which people make a purchase and then contact the credit card company to make a chargeback, which effectively reverses the transaction. Another great benefit is people can't steal your payment information from merchants. This is a pretty big one. Most online purchases today are made via credit cards. But in the 1920s and 30s, when the first precursors to credit cards appeared, the internet hadn't yet been conceived. Credit cards were never supposed to be online and are insecure. Online forms require that you enter all your secret information, the credit card number, the expiry date, the CSV number, into a web form. It's hard to think of a less secure way to do online business. This is why credit card numbers keep being stolen. Bitcoin transactions, however, don't require you to give up any secret information. Instead, they use two keys, a public key and a private one. Anyone can see the public key, which is actually your Bitcoin address, but your private key is secret. When you send a Bitcoin, you sign the transaction by combining your public and private keys together and applying a mathematical function to them. This creates a certificate that proves the transaction came from you. As long as you don't do anything silly like publishing your private key for everyone to see, you're safe. Another thing is it is not inflationary. The problem with a regular fiat currency, which the US dollar is a fiat currency, it's not backed up by gold like it used to be. So the problem with the regular fiat currency is that governments can print as much of it as they like, and they frequently do. If there are not enough US dollars to pay off the national debt, then the Federal Reserve can simply print more. If the economy is sputtering, then the government can take newly created money and inject it into the economy via a much publicized process known as quantitative easing. This causes the value of a currency to decrease. If you suddenly double the number of dollars in circulation, then that means there are $2 where before there was only one. Someone who has been selling a chocolate bar for $1 will have to double the price to make it worth the same as it was before, because $1 suddenly has only half its value. This is called inflation, and it causes the price of goods and services to increase. Inflation can be difficult to control and can decrease people's buying power. Bitcoin was designed to have a maximum number of coins. Only 21 million will ever be created under the original specification. This means that after that, the number of Bitcoins won't grow, so inflation won't be a problem. In fact, deflation, where the price of goods and services falls, is more likely in the Bitcoin world. Another good benefit is it's as private as you want it to be. Sometimes we don't want people knowing what we've purchased. Bitcoin is a relatively private currency. On the one hand, it's transparent thanks to the blockchain. Everyone knows how much a particular Bitcoin address holds in transactions. They know where those transactions came from and where they're sent. On the other hand, unlike conventional bank accounts, no one knows who holds a particular Bitcoin address. It's like having a clear plastic wallet with no visible owner. Everyone can look inside, but no one knows whose it is. However, it's worth pointing out that people who use Bitcoin unwisely, such as always using the same Bitcoin address or combining coins with multiple addresses into a single address, risk making it easier to identify them online. Another good benefit is you don't need to trust anyone else. In a conventional banking system, you have to trust the people to handle your money properly along the way. You have to trust the bank, for example. You might have to trust a third-party payment processor. You often have to trust a merchant too, and these organizations demand important, sensitive pieces of information from you. Because Bitcoin is entirely decentralized, you need trust no one when using it. When you send a transaction, it is digitally signed and secure. An unknown miner will verify it, and then the transaction is completed. The merchant need not even know who you are unless you arrange to tell them. Another cool benefit is you alone own it. There is no other electronic cash system in which your account isn't owned by someone else. Take PayPal, for example. If the company decides for some reason that your account has been misused, it has the power to freeze all of the assets held in the account without consulting you. It is then up to you to jump through whatever hoops are necessary to get it cleared so that you can access your funds. With Bitcoin, you own the private key and the corresponding public key that makes up a Bitcoin address. No one can take that away from you unless you lose it yourself or host it with a web-based wallet service that loses it for you. Another cool benefit is if you want to go this route, you can actually create your own money. In spite of the amazing advances in home office color printing technology, most national governments take a fairly dim view of you producing your own money. With Bitcoin, however, it is encouraged. You can certainly buy Bitcoins on the open market, but you can also mine your own if you have enough computing power. After covering your initial investment in equipment and electricity, mining Bitcoins is simply a case of leaving the machine switched on and the software running, and who wouldn't like their computer to earn their money while they sleep? Now this is just if you look online and do a little search, and if you look at the trend of the Bitcoin since 2009, it has trended upward. It does fluctuate quite a lot, but that fluctuation also allows opportunity for profit, and I'll be sharing with you a cool way for you to benefit and to acquire some Bitcoins because of that fluctuation. But overall, it's like the granddaddy of cryptocurrencies, and it is expected to rise in value, especially this year in 2017. There's a lot of reasons for that. I won't get into it now, but generally, an upward trend, can be reversed. It can go the opposite direction, but in general, with currencies, once a trend is established, it's kind of tough to reverse that trend. So I think it would be a reasonable expectation to think that the currency you might acquire might go up in value. So I hope that's piqued your interest of why you might want to look into Bitcoin further. I want to make myself available to you. So here's my contact information. I don't share this everywhere, but that's my personal cell phone number. That's the best way to contact me is just text me because it comes right to my phone, and I'll get back to you. If I see a number and somebody's calling me and I don't know that number, I usually screen it and wait for a message. But if you text me and just say, hey, I'm interested in Bitcoin or something like that, I'll get back to you and we'll schedule a time to talk. You can also Skype me. It's ken.hodge767. Also have a Facebook fan page, facebook.com/freelancefrog. You can message me there if you'd like. Basically, what I mentioned is there's a lot of fluctuation in the value of Bitcoin, a daily fluctuation. Long term, it's trending upward, but I can put you in contact with a system that takes advantage of that fluctuation and on a daily basis will produce Bitcoins for you. And it doesn't take a large investment. You can test it out for a very nominal fee and see how it's working. And then once you feel comfortable with that, you can crank it up to whatever your desires are. So anyway, that's it. I hope you understand that Bitcoin has a future. They're called cryptocurrencies, and that's basically, we're going to see more of them. But Bitcoin is the granddaddy. It's traded worldwide, and I think you'll like what you have to see. Just call me. We'll have a short chat, and I'll give you a link where you can do some exploring. And that's it for today. Thank you very much.